Okay, this is recording. I've never recorded with Zoom, so hopefully this works out. I don't know where this is going to save. Okay, I'm here with the Freak Heat Waves, legendary band, Victoria, Montreal at the moment. I got Stephen Lind and Thomas Danino with me here.
Hello.
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 So you guys just released an album on Telephone Explosion. I spent the better part of this week kind of going through albums on there. There's some good shit on Telephone Explosion. It's pretty wild.
Oh,
For
yeah,
sure.
it's an awesome label.
Yeah, that Chandra record is very sick. I think it's reminiscent of your last two records a little bit too. I think it makes sense.
Yeah,
That's cool.
for sure. That's a great album.
Yeah. And the Belle Epoque, I like that one too. I couldn't tell. It's like I can't tell if they're covers or not on those albums. Like I'm not really sure.
Which one's that one?
It's like it's this. I think it's the Belle Epoque Ensemble, and I think it's a bunch of people from various
Oh,
different bands in Toronto.
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think any of those are covers, but it's legit shit.
Because I don't. One of the songs. I'm like, this sounds like a sample from an MF Doom song or something, but I'm not 100% sure.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really sweet band.
Yeah, it's great. Okay, so I'm just gonna go right to it. I got like 2 pages of notes. I went through every single interview you guys have ever done.
Holy
I dug
shit.
through the web. So my first question is related to that, and it's so you've done a fair amount of interviews, more than anyone I've talked to so far. Like what's the shit you hate talking about that you're like, why even bother asking me this? Or, not necessarily like what's off the table, but like what just makes you roll your eyes,
Morning.
Morning.
Um, I'd say like any question regarding the band name is a pretty obvious.
Wow, he's cutting out.
Okay, yeah. Well,
Roll.
Yeah.
there isn't really anything for me that I hate talking about.
That's good.
Or maybe nothing I can think of right now.
Okay. Well, I'll do my best to grind your gears.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's find one. Let's find an answer.
Yeah, let's find one. Yeah, I guess the band name one though, it's like it is a pretty evident name. When I first heard your band name, it was Keenan, Elon Noon, was
Yeah.
saying it, and I had no idea what he was saying because of the soft H. No, it was like Freak Heat Waves, and I was like, what the fuck are you saying, man?
We get that a lot, yeah.
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 But then he put on the shirt, and I was like, oh, that's what he's saying, right? Okay. So obviously like you guys have probably been asked a lot about this one too, but the progression of the band has changed more than your average band changes throughout your 4 full-length albums. Like what drew you to go more synthetic, like and less I guess angular? I don't even know what angular means, but it's that particular sound that's kind of, I think, drifted away, particularly in the west coast of Canada.
For sure. Well, yeah, I mean, all of our records had some element of synthesizers and drum machines on them. So it was like always something we were interested in. But yeah, when we started out, we were just doing the guitar drum thing because that's what we were used to. Like we played in punk bands and stuff. So it's like to play live, it was always that format for us, and to bring a synth or a drum machine to a show and try to make that work seemed pretty much impossible, or like didn't really even consider that for a long time. It just seemed like a studio thing for us to do. But then it was just a gradual change, I would say. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems natural. It's like particularly from the Bonnie to the XXXL, and then to this one, it's like it is pretty gradual. I've listened to them a bunch of times in the last week, and Bonnie is more synthetic than I remembered it to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in there for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, even I'd say like a lot of it was also just I don't know, you never really want to make the same thing twice, or like we don't ever strive to do that.
No, I've always found it bizarre, like the idea of an extensive tour where you play the same songs over and over again to be soul crushing. I've never done it, but it just sounds.
Oh,
yeah.
it
We
could
did
be
a
great.
tour. Our last big tour for Beyond Triple XL, it was the same set every night for 2 months.
Ugh. Yeah.
Yeah, it was particularly boring because usually when we play, there's like a ton of improvisation happening. But for the Beyond Triple XL, we were really trying to execute the album, and there's tons of synths on it, so we were playing the backing tracks, so it was like really hard to jam, and it got so boring.
Mhm.
How did you run the backing tracks? What were you using?
We had like a 303 sampler that would play, like you can just put like super long loops on all those pads, so we would just have the backing tracks on the pads.
So you would just hit play on it, I guess, eh?
Yeah, and then we would
Yeah,
just
for
play
each
along.
track, yeah.
Was it just the two of you on that tour?
We had a bass player.
Okay.
It was the original bass player actually from the band, and he did that tour, and that was pretty sweet. But I would never, yeah, I don't think we'd ever play the backing tracks like that again.
Yeah,
That was a mistake.
little
But
dull,
it's,
little
it's
dull.
convenient, I guess, though, right? Because like, did you know you had no drum kit, I assume, with you, right?
We
That
did
was
have
the weird
drum
thing,
kit,
is
yeah.
we did have drum, bass, guitar, and then we were just trying to mix this like other stuff in seamlessly. It was like,
Yeah.
it depends on the sound system. It really depended on the sound tech.
Yeah. I could imagine like playing like in certain pubs with like, you know, ancient boomer sound guys just being like, "What are you doing?" You know?
And
Oh yeah, a lot
totally
of people
fair.
got mad at us.
Sound guys hated us, and I didn't blame them.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I think also for us too, with the synths and the drum machine stuff was always the stuff we had the most fun recording on. All, like, even our first record, it's like when I look back at that record, like first song is just synths and drum machines and the best stuff. And that's like one of my favorite tracks on that record. And I think same thing with Bonnie's, the stuff that I had the most fun recording and I think turned out the best is the synth and drum machine stuff. Like I loved, like I think we all loved playing live with the band, and because it was a lot of improvisation and we loved jamming together and we doing all that stuff, but it just seemed impossible to like capture that on record in an interesting way, where it's just like a different, it's like the energy and execution of it live was super fun, but then it never made as much sense on record as when we were just doing more experimental stuff with synthesizers and stuff that always like was more rewarding as a recording.
Yeah, I suppose it'd be easier to work like at a distance using electronic music, because you could just send a much cleaner audio track. Did you guys record the album together, or was it kind of a mix?
Bit of both. Yeah.
yeah. It's definitely, that is a huge part of it. Also, like even when we did live in the same city, like space is really expensive now.
Yeah, hell
So yeah, so that was a big thing. Like it's hard to afford a place to make a lot of noise and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't imagine I'll ever be in a situation where I'm around a drum kit again, you know? Like I
Yeah,
can't
it's like,
I can't even fathom it.
it's so hard. It's so rare these days that, like, you know, when you think about, well, we're getting together to record or something, like what can we do at a low volume? It's like often it's just stuff you can plug right into the interface or something.
Yeah, I've noticed too, like the Victoria music scene, if you will, from what I know. I'm a little bit more out of touch than I used to be, but it has gone very electronic, Ableton-y music is what seems to be popping off, you know, rather than post-punk, I guess, you know.
Yeah, I'm also pretty out of touch with it by now, but especially given the quarantine and stuff. But that is the stuff I'm seeing popping up on online and stuff. Definitely seems to be going that way.
Yeah,
which is cool. It's a sweet change.
yeah. People love like dance music again. It seems like, which is super sick.
Yeah, it's fun. It's just like, it's fun and highly creative.
Yeah,
and you don't need to rely on a bunch of people to do it.
yeah, and it's limitless. It's sick.
Yeah.
So in one of the interviews that I listened to, Thomas, you mentioned being a fan of dub, like dub music.
Oh yeah, me and Steve are huge
dub boys. Yeah, I went through a huge dub phase. I like it was my one untouched territory of music. I mean, obviously there's always more, but
oh yeah, it's possibly the best.
I got obsessed. So I was just curious if the recording techniques of that and stuff has ever like kind of seen its reared its ugly head on any of your records.
Oh, I'd say on every one. it's like the one of the coolest. It's so when I first learned about that whole scene and stuff, like it was so enlightening. I was like, oh, this is a way to make music.
Yeah.
It is like so sweet. So yeah, we definitely are constantly exploring those techniques.
Yeah, when you have a space echo in the studio, it's pretty hard not to use it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
On
I don't
everything.
think
So.
I've ever recorded without like a dub stand on the mixer.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, I love the concept of like rhythm or whatever is like very, very cool. Like they're like, okay, the bass and the drums, and then everything else is separate is very interesting. Like I think of dub almost as like it's like reverse ambient music. You know what I mean? Where
Yeah,
instead of texture and melody, it's like rhythm and groove, but with the kind of the same sort of it's almost drony. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I think it's very, very interesting.
For
I
sure.
also love the idea of just using the same, like recycling your own creative output to make it creative again.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so sweet.
Yeah, it's very ahead of its time. It's still ahead of its time, I'd say, honestly.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a dub. Yeah, I was gonna ask about like which synthesizers did you guys specifically use, and if you have any like dream synths that you want to get your hands on. I'm buddies with a bunch of crazy synth guys. I know a thing or two, but not too much about the synthesizer world.
Steve?
Yeah, I guess the two that I have over here that I was using was the Korg Poly 61, which is like from the 80s, and it's very similar to the Juno,
Yeah,
which I don't
Juno
know if we
rocks.
used
Yeah.
Thomas's Juno on this record, but we had used it a lot on Beyond Triple XL. It's a very similar kind of synth. And then the other one I have is the Korg Mini Log, which is like a newer synth that I use live. Like it's great because it's super light and you can save really easily. And it's just I bought it as like a live synth mainly, but then it's on the record for sure.
Cool.
And then Thomas got more.
Yeah, big one for us that we try to use on every album, but I'm actually not sure if it made itself on this album, was the Korg MS-10. That's like, we always try to use that because it just sounds amazing. But this album was actually like a ton of this Emu like rack mount synth that just had just based on samples, but that was like a huge part of a lot of the sounds on it.
Do you guys make this record like what gear did you use specifically to record it? Like was it are you using DAWs, or are you using like hardware, or what?
There's one track was done on a tape machine, which is
Okay.
all our first three records were all tape machine records.
Yeah, they sound like tape machine records.
Yeah, so this one we only did one track on a Tascam. What is it? I don't even know. But yeah, but then the rest of it was done on either like Logic or GarageBand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Apple products.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always sleek. I like Logic. I don't love Logic. I find it frustrating, some of the things that you can and can't do on Logic.
I'm digging it. I'm just like getting into it. Mixing this album and working in it and stuff. I like grew to really like it.
Yeah, it's so user friendly, and it's like a nice look to be in. I find with DAWs, it's the UI is more important than anything else in reality, right?
Yeah, I think like the more we use synths and drum machines and like a lot of samplers and stuff, it's like the production is kind of already done before you're recording it. So the DAW is just like capturing.
Right. Yeah.
The thing
that's what I
where
like about it. You can use it to make music, or you can just use it as a tape machine. You know.
Yeah. Whereas like with the tape machine, though, we'd always like that is like it adds a filter to everything. So
yeah,
you want it to be. You want to hear it, but now with the DAW, it's like you just want something you can't hear.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Which I'm sure some people hate that it doesn't have character, but I like that. I like that it doesn't have character. It's like completely up to you to make it sound X way. You know.
Totally.
Yeah. Okay. So I was gonna Just asked about like influences and stuff. Like, but I'm gonna go specific. Like, okay, songs that make you cry is what I'm just gonna ask. You got any tunes that make you shed a tear? For me, Carissa by Sun Kill Moon is my go-to one. That song fucks me up.
Okay, I'm not super familiar with Sun Kill Moon, but I've heard it's a lot of crying.
Yeah, it is. He's gotten pretty bad, his music in recent days, but
Man, that's a good question. Trying to think off the top of my head, pretty tough to answer. I love a lot of just like soul ballads and stuff for that kind of era specifically. I don't know.
I think we lost Thomas.
Yeah, he's
Oh, there he is.
He's back.
Sorry, dog ran away.
You got the dog though. The dog is safe.
Boom.
Nice.
Oh, you're in the car. Thomas, what song makes you cry?
What song makes me
Yeah,
cry?
that was my question.
Oh man, you know whose voice always gets me is Curtis Mayfield.
Okay.
Mhm.
A lot of songs by him, I find myself, feeling pretty heavy.
Yeah, The Makings of You. That's a tearjerker song.
For
Yeah.
sure. And We the People Who Are Darker Than Blue, I think. That track gets me pretty hard.
Yeah.
Gets you hard?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Makes
Yeah,
me
I
cry.
love-
That's a different question.
That is.
That
Yeah.
was my next question. What song
And
makes you horny?
also Leonard Cohen.
Okay.
His
for
first
sure.
couple albums usually get me pretty hard. And Brian Wilson, like Pet Sounds really gets me.
Yeah. You know that first the Dennis Wilson album? I'm sure you guys have listened to that. The first tune on that
Yeah.
album gets me pretty good.
Oh yeah, the Ocean Blue.
Yeah, with the big horn drop and stuff. Like, yeah.
For
I
sure.
like
That's the tune.
the Yoko Ono kind of ballads are always like, even like Hard Times Are Over, stuff like that. There's a heaviness to it. And it's just kind of like I like things like that where there's like a naivety in performance or ability or something, and it's just all the emotion. That's kind of
Yeah, true raw. I've always thought
Yeah.
too, like I'd rather, speaking of naivety, like I'd rather watch somebody who's never played a guitar before than someone that's really good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who's confident at least, who's just like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna fuck around. Like,
that
Totally.
can be extremely good or extremely annoying. I've
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
it go both ways.
yeah. But I guess it just depends on the energy. Like if you're picking up a guitar and you're like, oh, I want to be like Led Zeppelin or something, that's gonna be really annoying. And if you're picking it up and you're like, this is a toy, that could be very interesting. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then there's something to be said about like someone like Link Ray who also gets me pretty hard. Like edit that. But he there's there's something about
This is gonna be on public radio. I guess I'm gonna have to fucking cut it down. That's fine.
Yeah,
There's
you
something
have to go
about,
down. It's just Thomas saying he's hard for.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something about Link Ray who is insanely talented, but decides to play, maybe more emotionally. And he's an insane guitar player. That just
Big Ray's like he's like rockabilly-ish. Is that's right? Is that correct?
yeah,
Yeah.
he started in that scene, kind of like invented it, but then like he has a bunch of albums kind of after he has this like health scare where they're kind of like Rolling Stonesy kind of
Okay.
like swamp rock, and it's like there's some real heart-wrenching ballads on those.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. My other question, I guess, back to influences is like I said this in the email, and I was like, "That's a dumb thing to say," but is like non-musical influences. Like I just read the Pitchfork review, and they compare you guys to the music's like RoboCop or something like that. You know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So what are some? I guess we'll talk about Zap the Planet specifically, but what are some non-musical influences on the record? What was stimulating you? Even themes, whatever. Like,
I guess Zap the Planet is kind of like thematically a bit a reference to just like climate change was like what the title was trying to say. So I don't know if that was an influence on the record, but it was kind of like something we wanted to put out there. And then, but lyrically, most of the record is just about personal stuff that was a bit of a change for us.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Personal
I
stuff.
don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed like too, like your lyrical content has kind of changed a bit throughout the records for sure. You write all the lyrics, is that correct, Steven?
On this record, I did. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because like I
But
don't know if I found it that the records got funnier as they went on, kind of. You know what I mean? Like you leaned into that delivery a bit more on this record in particular, I think.
yeah, I mean, we're always, I think there's always humor in all of it, but yeah, I think we're getting a bit more comfortable with what we're doing, so it's coming out more.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool that you picked up on that. But yeah, it's I think a lot of what defines what we do is just like the absurdity of it all. Like I think the last record, like Beyond Triple XL, is just like an extremely absurd take on music in some sense.
Yeah.
They're just like, and obviously the voice is an absurd thing to most people, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I wrote down like I'm sure that like when you're on tour and stuff that you get the Ian Curtis thing a lot, I'm sure, right? I'm sure you've heard
Yeah,
that.
I always get like Ian Curtis and Jim Morrison and
I didn't think of Jim Morrison, but I could see that.
who else? All
Uh,
those Iggy
Marky
Pop.
Smith.
Iggy Pop, okay. Yeah, I can see that too.
What'd you say, Tom?
Marky Smith is the one I hear a lot too.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's the fall guy, right? Marquis Smith.
Yeah.
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 Just like a lot of those crooner guys who can not really sing. That's
Yeah,
kind of like,
the low talk sing kind of thing. But you know what? I picked up and Alan Vega. I'm sure you get like the Suicide comparison, obviously.
Yeah.
yeah.
You guys did that full Suicide cover set.
We
that I
did.
Yeah,
was
totally. Yeah, we're big fans.
Yeah, that was cool. It sounded like the records when you guys did it. It was pretty wild. I was like, damn.
Because we sampled the records.
Yeah, I remember. I think I asked you guys. I was blackout drunk at that show. So
Me too.
cool. Okay. Yeah, I remember like this. I think the only time I ever spoke to you, and I don't remember what I said, but I remember waking up being like, I was an idiot. That classic shame over kind of thing. Yeah. No. Okay. My comparison is, and I hope you've never gotten this before. It's the B-52s guy. That's
Whoa.
Cool.
Yeah. With like just the really leaning into it, super like despite the kind of like sort of monotoneness, I think there's actually something very theatrical about your delivery.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I like the B-52s.
Yeah, me too. I recently like actually sat down and listened to their records like Beyond the Hits, and it's actually like some very interesting music.
Totally.
Totally, yeah.
Okay.
Good records.
Yeah, good records. Okay, yeah, I want to go back. Like, what was your guys' beginnings like playing music and stuff? Not even necessarily like, oh, I did guitar lessons, because like seems like most interviews in general always like, yeah, I was in school band or whatever. But like first real like bands that you played in and stuff, and what did they sound like, and what was that experience like?
Steve.
The first bands I played in was like grade 9 or 10. I started playing in bands, like the same within months of basically having a guitar. So just awful, like pop punk. I don't even know what it was. Just bands that exist for a couple of practices kind of thing. Did that for a long time, and then like all of high school, and then after high school I just got really into acoustic guitar and folk music and Bob Dylan and stuff. And then I did that, and I started performing like that, and that's how I met Thomas. And he was also doing some solo folk stuff, but also he was in a band, obviously. And then I joined Thomas and his brother's band, Mount Royal, which they had been doing since high school. And that's what we started touring with, and really playing shows and getting any kind of like experience touring or whatever, and recording. But Me and Thomas, when we met, we started booking shows in Medicine Hat, where we were from, and we did it every Tuesday for like 2 years. We brought bands to town and promoted shows, and then just out of necessity of there's no local bands in Medicine Hat, we would often play these shows where like 1 week it would be me performing a solo set, or then 1 week it would be Thomas doing a solo set, or like his brother doing a solo set, and then 1 week it would be Mount Royal or band, and then another week it would be me playing my songs with Thomas and his brother backing me up and stuff. So it was like, looking back, it's like a pretty cool experience to just like, we did all kinds of music really at that time.
Yeah.
And like we were playing in a crazy noise punk band, but also performing solo acoustic sets. Like,
Is that what Mount Royal was? It was a noise punk band.
Yeah, I would say it started just like out of the extreme want to play music, but maybe not knowing how. And
Yeah.
we just found a bunch of like-minded friends, two other friends in high school who just like also really wanted to play music but didn't know how. Except for our drummer, he was like a crazy marching drummer, but he didn't know how to play anything except the snare drum.
Yeah.
So that was interesting, but yeah, it was just real weird music. And then maybe the better we got or the more we learned, it got more just kind of noisy or just like indie noisy, or like we like Sonic Youth a lot.
Mhm.
And then we just kind of moved on from there. But yeah, lots of different kind of music.
Did you guys ever record as Mount Royal? Does that exist?
Yeah, I think there's one record online, and then if anyone has old records, there's like a couple, or CDs. There's like, I think there's like 2 CDs before the record that's on the internet, and then a couple 7 inches and stuff.
Okay. I'm gonna try and dig it up. I'm gonna hit the
Yeah.
SoulSeek, see if I can find those.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Thomas has them all.
I got them all.
Yeah.
To pry them out of my cold dead hands. Though.
Are you an avid like record collector? Like you got a collection?
I do. Yeah, I love record digging.
Yeah. What's your most prized records? Like what's the one that you're like nobody touches?
Not that it's rare or anything, but I have. I'm just. I always loved both the Plastic Ono Band records, the John Lennon one and the Yoko one.
Yeah, those are great records.
And I just remember being so stoked when I finally found the Yoko Ono one, and just being like, these are two records that will never not be next to each other. I will never sell these.
Hell yeah.
And then me and Steve both are huge Craig Leon fans, and at one of the record fairs in Victoria, I found an original visiting. So I picked that up, and that's like, I'm pretty stoked on that. And then also, I guess just I spent a long time trying to find original Kinks records. So my Kinks collection, I'm pretty like, I'll never sell these either.
Nice. You collect records, Steve?
No, not really. I mean, I did more when I was younger. Like when we lived in Medicine Hat, there was this crazy record store called Arcade Records that me and Thomas and his brother were basically the only people in the whole city who cared about records. So you could just get anything for nothing, basically. The only thing he charged real money for was Beatles and Stones, and then anything else was like $1. So
Hell yeah.
I had a lot of records at that point, and that was really fun. I liked going there, and there was nothing else to do in Medicine Hat, so collected a bunch of records. I've parted ways with a lot of them over the years just because I've moved a lot, and it's been unrealistic for me to collect records, but I would love to. It's always fun to like listen to records, and maybe one day I'll get back into it, but
yeah, I
I
find
still have like 50, but that's about it.
that's a bit of records. Yeah, I've probably 50 CDs. That's about all I got. But
Okay.
yeah, I find streaming it's like there's a it's so convenient, you know. It's like, but it's the ultimate like gentrification of music. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, it's become worthless.
yeah, it's so convenient though, because it's like I can immediately like I woke up and I put on one of your records like that I didn't have to spend any money on. You know what I mean? Like it's just like
Yeah.
play, right?
I'm a big fan of streaming as well.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
find that,
that and like YouTube, and I feel like it's just such a wealth of knowledge, just such a good way to archive shit.
Yeah, YouTube is particularly great. I know that there's this weird, I can't even describe it, but I always like describe this particular sound as like YouTube sidebar music. You know what I mean?
For
oh yeah,
sure.
Yeah, like a lot of those like sort of
algorithm.
Japanese guitar records and stuff. You know?
Yeah. Has the algorithm showed you this yet?
Yeah.
Like the clickbait of music.
Mhm.
But I find like the thing that I mean, I'm sure everyone has talked about this, but just the thing that I miss about like now when I've like Spotify or YouTube, whatever, I just listen to like the start of so many songs or like a little bit of a record and then move on and it's gone forever. But back in when CDs were around, or I guess they're still around, but back when we were buying CDs all the time, you'd buy a CD and then you just have it, and then you'd have to listen to it even when you like didn't like it.
Yeah.
Like you just drive around in your car and it'd just be in your car, and then you just listen to that CD until you basically liked it. And that was kind of cool. Like that experience of just having to sit with music longer and then really like it just was a different listening experience. And
Yeah, you have
even
to
with
force that now.
yeah,
Yeah,
you, you
it,
can't
it
do
was
it.
it's the challenge, which is really cool. Like I do remember as a kid, my sister was always she was the head of CGSW in Calgary, so she'd always give us weird CDs. And I remember one like family road trip to like I don't know where we were driving, but I remember sitting in the back of the car and I just had Doolittle by the Pixies. And I just remember listening to it and hating it.
Yeah.
But then just being like, this is the only thing I have to listen to. So I just listened to it, and then by the end of the road trip, I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That and it was like an amazing thing when I remember getting like a 3-disc CD player. You could put 3 discs in it, and that was like,
It's been around. Yeah.
yeah. And I just put that on. Like this is so crazy, so much music.
Magical tones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, I guess we're old. I guess that's what we,
Yeah.
I don't know what the point of that was.
Yeah. No, my brother, when I was in elementary school, I was in Waterloo, and it's this very weird kind of Christian vibes in the school, and they would do pretty heinous shit. But like, there was the contests and stuff that the kids would do, where it's like if you do a good thing, you get this thing called a gotcha. You know, you get caught doing a good thing, and then they draw it on Fridays, and you win a prize. My brother won a 7-disc stereo. That was tight.
Wow.
That was tight. We would listen to like when we would go to bed. My mom would make us like make CDs with like Leonard Cohen and stuff. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, and that was such a cool time. Mixed CDs or like mixtapes like that, where you really just personalized your stuff, but not in like such a disposable way. I guess it was a bit disposable. It's not like a playlist or whatever where you're just changing it all the time. It's just kind of like you have this CD, it's in the order you put it in, and that's just
Yeah.
your experience with those songs forever or whatever.
I feel like most of the mixed CDs that have been produced in the world now are gone. You know, like
Yeah,
I don't have any. Like, and I'm sure I probably made hundreds, and they're gone. I have no idea what happened to them.
yeah, and they just do the grossest mismatch of music,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
such like that was such a cool thing.
Yeah.
Mine would
And like,
always just be like a half of an album, like a half of a whole album, and then just like 5 weird random songs and then a half of a different album.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, mine would be like 3 Stroke songs, 3 Tupac songs, and like a Kid Rock song.
Hell yeah.
Just like I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. Yeah,
I don't know. Kid Rock's got some good music, like unironically, I'd say.
but yeah, no sense of flow. I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. Then I had another question. Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, like I don't like this question, but I'm gonna ask it anyways, just because like you guys actually have a lot of experience touring and stuff. It's just like, do you think COVID is gonna have like long-term impact on the future of kind of live music and or music in general?
I wonder. I think maybe what it's done is it's pushed the streaming concert into existence.
Yeah.
And people seem to be getting real good at it. So that might be a thing that just keeps happening.
Have you watched any of them?
I've checked out just the snippets, but like you'll see like even like the MTV Music Awards this year like was crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's cool.
And I'm just like, oh, I wonder if this is just the way we'll do shit like this from now on. Like if Coachella will just be an insane stream that you could do for like $5 from home.
Yeah, I don't like the lack of like three dimensionality to like a live stream show though. You know what I mean? Like you can't like move around, you can't smell anything.
Can't
Yeah.
crowd.
There's no bar. There's you know what I mean? Like it's I think it makes it harder to be critical almost. You know what I mean? Like where because you can
There's
just
no,
close it, right?
there's no guest
Yeah.
list.
Yeah, yeah. There's no guest list politics. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely different. I think things will probably go like it seems like everyone's pushing just to go back to normal, whether it be for good or like if we're ready for it or not. But I just feel like everyone's pushing to get the venues open again, like especially the bar industry and stuff. So
Oh yeah.
I
Big
wouldn't be
time.
surprised if everything just goes back to normal
Yeah.
sooner rather than later.
Yeah, maybe people will have a newfound appreciation for live music after this, but maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I think it might
If
change
I
the
knew
kind of music that people want to go see. You know.
the kind of
Yeah.
music, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that makes any sense. I just like I have this sneaking suspicion that dance music is gonna like just take off the second that like we're all clear on COVID. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I kind of wonder if like band touring will be, especially at a certain like level, if it's gonna be like riskier, I guess, because it'll be like, well, do we want to go play venues that are only allowed half capacity? Are we gonna make any money?
Yeah,
But maybe electronic people, you know, it's easier to travel, it's cheaper and stuff. So
exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, because like if like A economically and B just like yeah risk. If it's just one person with a laptop that's got a killer like sound or whatever, like I think we're gonna lean more towards booking that rather than the sort of liability, both economically and health wise of being a full size band. You know.
yeah, totally.
And I think when people want to go back, like when people are like, yeah, we need to go to a show, they're gonna want. I think they're gonna want to dance. You know what I mean? I think they're gonna want something a bit more like the sensuality or whatever of dance music and kind of club
Be ready
music
to
and stuff.
party.
Yeah, and I found too that stuff that's like been successful in the wake of like URL, like raves or whatever. It's the sort of like PC music, whatever you want to call that, hyper pop stuff. I think that's what's going to be in vogue come live music.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I could see that for sure.
yeah. I don't know. Okay, I don't know. Do you guys like that stuff? This is something I'm endlessly curious about. Where and is I've endlessly debated the kind of like hyper pop thing. Like, do you think that it's flash in the pan, or if you know what I'm talking about, like a
Yeah,
flash in the pan, or if it's like actually going to like is Madonna gonna work with 100 gecs or something? You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
I I think it could be. I don't know. I like it. I just love how weird it is. I appreciate any kind of pop music that comes around where like I don't understand. Like I find it so like even like someone like Prince, where you're just like, this is such weird music. I can't believe this is like a pop star.
yeah, I
And
tend to agree.
so I like love anything like that that can like really push into the mainstream but remain like hyper artistic. So I have a big respect for that scene.
Yeah, I think it could eat up the space that on the billboards that like trap music takes, which will break my heart as a big fan of trap music. But
Yeah.
I think the way that when I was like, you know, I'm 24, so when I was like 16, and all this Migos and et cetera, Drake was getting really popular. It was like, oh yes, this is very exciting. I think that maybe that is what's happening right now with this kind of manic, dancey, hyper pop stuff. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems huge.
Yeah. Although it's a lot weirder than trap music, you know, because trap music is kind of based on fundamentals of music that's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Whereas I think the hyperpop stuff, like maybe it leans into some like Madonna and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think like I always I look at Death Grips kind of when I think of this stuff too. You know what I mean? Like
Okay. Yeah.
very internet aware, like very uh what's the word like enigmatic, I guess. You know.
Yeah.
Not adherent to like any identity or anything really.
Yeah. Isn't like Sophie's like more popular than ever, right?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I went to see Sophie in Vancouver and it was sold out. So
Yeah. I saw her in Montreal when I lived there, and it was nuts. It was a crazy show.
yeah, it was nuts. It was so much more industrial than I expected.
Ours, I don't know if it's the same for you, but it was like a 20-minute set, which kind of blew my mind.
Whoa. Was it a like DJ kind of thing, or was it just like a full on?
It looked like, I don't exactly know what the gear was, but it looked like two Ableton pushes,
Yeah, it was
and
the same.
kind of, yeah, it was just like, and then a crazy light show, which was awesome.
Yeah, yeah. No, the show I saw, I think it was like an hour, and it was like almost completely unreleased music.
That,
Very, pretty aggressive for the most part. Didn't
yeah,
play any of the hits really. It was pretty crazy.
that's sweet.
Yeah,
I like that.
yeah, and it was a good crowd. There was like nice people as hell. Like, yeah, somebody offered me mushrooms in the bathroom.
There you go.
I said no. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Thanks for letting me talk about that at the end there. I apologize. It's
No
just
worries.
yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, I guess this has been the Freaky Waves. You guys got anything else you want to say?
Check out the new record.
Yeah. Zap the Planet. It's on Telephone Explosion. Buy a physical copy. You know.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, check out
Spend some
everything
money.
else on that label. It's a good label. Check it out.
It's great. Yeah. I highly recommend it. I've been going through it alphabetically. So
Yeah, check out New Fries.
yes, they
They're
got a new
okay.
record too.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. I'm gonna figure out how to stop recording.
Hell yeah.
Let's do that. I don't know how to do this.